All right. I'm excited for today's guest. We have Barbara, AKA DJ Barb from California, joining us. So thanks everybody for listening, and I'm super excited to welcome our guest today. And welcome, Barbara. How are you doing?
I'm great. I just had a very big weekend. I DJ'd the Crawl SF Barbie event here in San Francisco for 3,000 people, and I am still buzzing from the energy. It was really, really awesome.
Well, that sounds like a really great. And like the Barbie movie came out, so it was probably perfect. It was like the whole the set was it like Barbie theme geared or
It
what?
was yeah, Barbie everything. Everybody was in pink, all different kinds of Barbie, prom Barbie, sporty Barbie. There were plenty of Kens, there were plenty of Barbie Kens, and there were different like stops along the way for the crawl. It was like a pub crawl. So I was stationed at one of the bars, and they had like the life-size Mattel box that you could step in and take photos, and everyone was just in the best mood.
That sounds great. And probably a perfect weekend with the movie coming out. Like they were doing so much marketing, like everybody's hopping on the bandwagon to try
Yeah,
and Barbie.
yeah.
So just so everybody knows like who you are. So you're DJ based in California, right?
Yeah, so I DJ, produce, sing, write, all of the things.
Okay, so what got you started in like DJing, producing and all the fun stuff?
So it's funny. I get this question a lot, and it really shows how your journey with music can be nonlinear and sort of have all these twists and turns. I started singing. I started singing in choir, and I lived in a very musical house, like I think a lot of people who become artists and singers and performers. And so I didn't get into electronic music until my 20s. I went to Ultra Music Festival, and I just fell in love with this melodic music that didn't have any lyrics but could really make you feel so moved. And I didn't know how they were creating this energy and this vibe on the dance floor, a lot of the artists and the DJs. So I moved to New York. Shortly after that, I knew I always wanted to live there. I lived in Boston before that, and I was always going every weekend for shows. And so I really immersed myself in the underground culture and going out and exploring all these different bars in Brooklyn. And I had a bunch of friends in the DJ scene. So one day I was chatting with someone, and they were like, "You should absolutely just go for it. Why not? Like, what do you have to lose?" So I was like, "Okay, I'm going to do it." My cousin is a producer. He writes for film and TV and music scores. He's super talented, super, super wonderful. He had a pair of turntables that were just collecting dust in his house. So he was like, I can come over and set them up, no problem. Like, let's do this. So I had like a 300 square foot apartment. I remember we set them up on my dog's crate. I had just got a puppy. So, like, there are my turntables. And I started collecting vinyls. I started learning vinyl. So every weekend I would go shop for stuff at like Academy and Rough Trade. And I just happened to be picking up a piece of DJ gear one day outside this bar called Black Flamingo in Williamsburg. And the manager just happened to be outside. It was like before they were about to open. He saw me with my dog in this mixer in one arm. He was like, "You DJ?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" He was like, "Vinyl?" And I was like, "Yeah." And at this point, hadn't done anything. I hadn't mixed. I hadn't set up the equipment, but I just felt like there was this opportunity that was right in front of me. So I just kind of said it, and I went in one weekend. I spent the few months practicing beat matching and learning everything I could. I went in. I killed it. I played open to close. Everybody loved it. So I kept playing shortly after that. And then I was like, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if I was DJing stuff that was my own? And so then I got into production and learning Ableton, which is amazing if you're in electronic music. And I learned through a bunch of different teachers and workshops. And now I am singing on my tracks, which is really cool. I finished my album at the end of last year, and it will come out this fall. And it really, really feels full circle at this point.
Yes, that's a pretty good story. Like you said, like not linear to what you were planning on or starting out as. So do you have like any like influence in EDM word that you like say influence like your style that you like developed on your own?
I'd say it's really all over the place. I sit at this interesting intersection, I feel, of pop music that I love, like Dua Lipa and Madonna, Gwen Stefani, Charlie XCX, and then the underground world of like Red Axes, DJ Tennis, Maceo Plex, LPGOV, Carlita, Chloe Calais. I listen to a lot of DJs from Mexico and Tel Aviv and all over. I'd say I'm really excited about global sounds and I really try to bring that into my own music. I've always kind of gravitated towards that. So if you look at my Spotify, it's pretty random. But not random. I guess it just makes sense because I really would listen to what I love and I try to make music based on what I love to listen to.
That's great. I mean, it's good to have like different kind of influences, not just like one style. So you have like more to work with and yeah, more range to develop yourself. So do you actually ever like include any like of your favorite artists? Like do you ever include any of their bits into your like DJing, your like own mixes?
I do. So I run a biweekly radio show on BFF.FM, Best Frequencies Forever. It's a station based in San Francisco. And so I have a biweekly show that's Saturday nights, midnight to 1 a.m. And for that, it's a mix of my music and then a lot of the other music from artists that I listen to. A couple weeks ago, I did a locals only version, only featuring producers and DJs based in the Bay Area, and that was really cool because it's allowing me to get out and meet new people, and also expose amazing talent from the Bay to my listeners.
That's great. So the song you just released, the Sneaking Around, which is also like 90s influence, is that like your favorite style, like just 90s and just like the retro kind of, is that like what you're going for in your album too?
I I'm so glad that you love the song. I would say that is the most 90s Portishead, like grungy punk rock-esque song on the album. Um, I would say I'm very inspired by retro. Yes, like I love the 60s, love the 70s, and then my love of the underground music. So the album really ranges from disco, house, pop, 90s, but with that like with the pop and a little bit of edgy, I would say. So listeners are in for a treat because sneaking around is definitely as one of the more interesting like breakbeat ones. And I would say the rest of the tracks are definitely for more of my house heads, disco and my pop lovers.
So is the Sneaking Around like is it like based on like a true experience like from you like back in high school, or like how like
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I was so bad in high school. I was sneaking out and meeting out with this guy that lived close to me. It was so convenient and so perfect. So like everything in there is being on AIM and seeing that he was online or seeing that I was online from his side. I'd sneak out my window because I lived on the first floor and the AC was so loud you couldn't hear me jump out the window. So my mom had no idea. And the line about Old Spice in the air, like he used to wear Old Spice, so I can't smell that anymore without thinking about it. And I knew I just had to be home and he would have to be home before the street lights turned off and the sprinklers turned on. So everything in that song is based on true life experiences. And it just brings me back to such a rebellious phase, but still being like so young and playful. And yeah, it's one of the sexier ones for sure.
so the guy you're singing about in the song, like does he know about it? Have you told him about the song?
Oh no, absolutely not. I don't I didn't keep in touch with him, so it'll be very interesting if he hears it and knows what it's about. He must know if he hears it
Does he know
because
that
there's nobody else I was sneaking around with. So
does he know that you're like DJing and you're in the music scene now?
no, we did not keep in touch beyond high school. So it was a very young love little fling.
So maybe one day down the road you get like this really random message like, "Hey, I heard this song, like it kind of reminded me of us."
Yeah, I remember that leather couch. That's you?
So is the whole album gonna be like based on like real life experiences, or is that like some made up
Yes.
story?
No, everything I write is something I experienced. That is just naturally where I come from and where I go to for inspiration. So everything is, I'd say a lot of it is about love. A lot of it is about being in love, the feeling of, the feeling um, of love, losing love, heartbreak, love of your friends, and love of dancing, all different forms of love. That's definitely the main theme.
Right. So did you tell your parents like about the song and you sneaking out?
My mom knows the song. She asked me later, I think I was in college, like I used to hear this noise and I thought it was like cats crying or cats scratching up against the side of the house. I heard it a lot and I was like, "Oh, mom, that was just me, like my body flailing through the window as I'm trying to get back in." So my mom definitely knows. My mom knows we were the house that friends would come to when we wanted to go out or like or drink or be bad. And she got it later in life. So yeah, there was one time my cousin's gonna kill me. We snuck out and she almost got arrested. She met up with this guy who I guess took his grandmother's car and the grandmother woke to meet up with her and the grandmother woke up and she realized the car was missing and she called the cops and so the cops brought my cousin back. This is a true story. The cops brought my cousin back. She comes to the window and they're flashing a flashlight in the window. My mom is sleeping. And I was like, "Yes, officer, it's my cousin." And they were like, "Don't let this happen again." I don't know how she convinced them not to go to the front door, but it was like such a ridiculous night.
So is that story one of the songs on the album? Did that make it?
Maybe a future one, Sneaking Out Part Two.
I mean, it sounds like the perfect story to be on a song.
It, yeah, it definitely could be. I have a lot of stories. So there's definitely more albums on the way. I feel like I have over 400 different voice memos and I'm just constantly in a state of flow right now with different ideas coming to me. So I'm really excited for even what's coming beyond this album.
So are you able to tell us the name already of the album, or is that still a secret?
Yeah, no, the name of the album is Palm City Dreams, and it's a name that kept coming back to me every time I think of palm trees as a place where I've been to where I feel like I have realized my dreams and anything is possible. So, like the Palm Springs for me, I love. I've had some amazing experiences there. My grandmother and my grandparents have lived in Florida, so always spending time with them as a little girl, and even now going back to Miami and meeting different folks from the music scene there and living in California. You see everybody come to California with a dream and a passion and wanting to make it big. So Palm City Dreams is kind of like a state of mind. It's a mix of physical places that I really love, and I think it perfectly summarizes the music that's on the album.
Perfect. How many songs are going to be on the album?
15 tracks, so it's about an hour long.
That's great. That's a lot. That's a good
Mhm.
album.
we
So
wrote uh, we wrote the album. I worked with an incredible co-producer, sound engineer, musician based in Berkeley, California. His name's Jim Greer, and I got connected with him last year through my vocal coach, who had known him since the 90s. And she was like, "Oh, I think for the type of music you're making, you should definitely, connect with Jim." So we wrote 17 tracks in 2 weeks, and 15 of those tracks ended up being on the album. So we were in the studio like 12+ hour days just getting to know each other. We'd never worked together before, and we somehow made an album. I have like no idea how we did it. We were eating like breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. He really was excited to work more in the dance music community. And so he was like, "You as a DJ, I feel like you should bring the drum beats and build the drums for all of the tracks because you know what you like to play and listen to." And it was really cool. It was like the first time someone really got excited about my drum beats. I was like, "Really, Jim?" And he was like, "No, like seriously." So all most of the songs, the drum beats are all mine. And then Jim is doing all the musical elements, and we worked on the arrangements together and the stories and the lyrics, and it was such an incredible experience working with him. So something we're really, really proud of.
Sounds like a really great experience. And then just like writing 17 songs in 2 weeks, that's sounds like a lot. Like what was like the writing process? Like, did you like show up if the lyrics already written, or did you show up to with some part and then he kind of helped you like develop the melody and sound for it, or what was like the whole like writing process for all the songs?
So I really thought we were going to work off some of the voice memos I sent him. So poor Jim, I did send him like 100 to 200 voice memos, and he was like, I got through half. And I thought that was going to be the starting point. But when we got in the studio, it all started coming. So there was nothing pre-written. Like I said, I had done the drum beats, and then every day in the studio, he'd open up a drum beat and he'd start jamming on the keyboard or the synth and get some melodies going, and then I would get on the mic and kind of hum over that, and I would hum what became verse like placeholders for verses and choruses. So we were kind of like laying out the song, and then I would go back and write on my notes app on the phone or write on a physical notepad just what was coming to me based on the vibe of the song. Some of the songs, the words came right away as soon as I heard the melody, like just phrases were coming to me. Others were more like beepity boopidoo, here's where I'm going to need a word like this, and then I would fill it out. And Jim was just so helpful because he's worked with so many different artists in terms of the like developing the content and really pushing me with my writing. He was like, I don't know if I would say that, but like, what are you trying to get at? Maybe you could, maybe like you want to say it this way. And then it was a really fun, really rewarding process for sure. And also him just trusting in me and believing with me. I was like, Jim, I want to write a song about a horse at the disco. And he was like, what are you even talking about? I was like, no, no, Jim, please listen, hear me out. And he was like, okay, you get this one, because I had proved myself on the other ones I had written. And it's like it's one of my favorite songs. He's playing the steel pedal drum, which is a really cool instrument you hear in a lot of country music. So it's almost this country disco song, but just the fact that he was like, okay, you know what? Anything goes. And we didn't have any judgment. And there was no ego in the studio. The best idea, it didn't matter where it came from. So it's pretty rare if you get a chance to that's I feel like that really is the truest form of collaboration, having a relationship and an experience like that. So if there's any like artists and musicians out there, you definitely want to look for that, for who you want to partner with.
So like the whole like writing process. So did you guys like do like from start to finish in like 2 weeks, or was there still
Yes.
like changes and like, hey, we need to change this song, or like,
No, start to finish in 2 weeks.
you know,
Yeah.
that's
There were tiny things after the 2 weeks when we went into the mixing and mastering phase with another sound engineer, that like dialing in different things, or make like focusing more on the bass, or in dance music the vocals usually sit in the mix, and so we had to kind of just work on mixing related stuff after the 2 weeks, but that was it. We moved quickly. And I think a lot of the times you can get stuck on a song, like sometimes songs can take years, and I just felt like we were just kind of going, like we'd get in the first week we got like the basics down. I'd say we got like the demos of the songs, and then the second week was really refining what we had done in the first week.
that's great. I mean, it's great that you guys get along so well for like meeting the very first time and then like writing a whole album, like getting along and being on the same page of what it should be and turn out to. And I mean, it's probably, I can imagine it being difficult, like if I had to like work on a project with somebody that I've never met before, and then hoping you get along and you have the same way of thinking and idea.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, and I'd say we're both kind of crazy, so that helps. We got connected through my vocal coach, and we did have one studio day where we were actually working on a different song, and I was like, "Well, wait, I actually have all this dance music that I have done." And he was like, "What?" Like the song we went in for was kind of like a bit more folk and a little bit more pop. So we had one session together, and we were like, okay, I think we're gonna work well together. But yeah, you don't really know. You don't know when you're working with a new person, and it was beautiful.
That's great. So Sneaking Around is one song of the album. Is that going to be the only one you release before the album comes out, or are you going to release any more songs?
I've actually have three out. So Ghosted was the first one. Ghosted came out in March, and it's exactly what you think it is, all about, falling for someone that is also seeing a lot of other people, and falling hard and getting ghosted. It's happened to all of us. And then Ride the Wave is completely the opposite. It's about healthy, beautiful love that takes your breath away. And it's very dreamy and very beachy, very happy summer love vibes. Sneaking Around is a little bit grittier, darker, sexier, edgy. And I have another song coming out. It's called Girls for Sport on August 8th. And it's definitely a more Formula One house track. It's also a little bit darker. It's a bit more aggressive. It's definitely sexy. So that one's actually not on the album. That came from one of the lyrics in Ghosted in the second verse. It was about a guy who's basically a professional cheater and played Girls for Sport. And then I cut up the Girls for Sport vocal and made a whole song out of it. And a very good friend of mine, who's an awesome producer based in San Francisco, his name's Ed Hoffman. He did the dub remix out of it. So it's like very UK grunge garage breakbeat. So it's a 2-track EP that's coming out on August 8th.
Oh, wow. So you got an album and an EP coming out.
Yes, and a lot more music, a lot more songs that have been signed that I've done with other artists that are coming out later this fall. So this definitely feels like the year of music for me.
That's great. So when you like DJ and like, have you played any of the new songs from the album that haven't been out yet to kind of like get like a little feedback from the audience, or it's all going to be like a surprise when you release the album?
I do. So I actually also made a remix of Ghosted that will come out on the dance EP. I'm taking a couple of the songs that I really love from the album, and there will be a whole remix EP that will come out probably early next year. So I played Ghosted and the remix of it, and then I played Tequila. So it was really funny for Sneaking Around. I let the fans decide which single was going to come out next. I let folks pick between Tequila and Sneaking Around. I played different clips of it online and in my radio show for folks to vote. And I really thought Tequila was going to win because that's the one I play the most when I DJ and people love it. So I was shocked that it was Sneaking Around. So yeah, I love to test. I also sing when I DJ. So there's a couple other songs that are kind of a bit more disco house that I will perform live. So yeah, it's a pretty neat album.
Oh, so have you decided like on a whole like album release party yet? Like when it comes out, like have you decided on where, what, when yet, or is that still in the planning?
It's still in the planning, but it's very, very, very likely, like 98.9% going to come out on 11/11 because 11/11 also means a lot to me. I see it usually every day, either in the afternoon or in the evening if I'm up that late. And even I was at the gym the other day and like the locker combo was 11/11. So I see it a lot. I always make a wish on 11/11. Now my friends also see it because I call it out so much. So it needs to come out on 11/11.
Okay, I'm assuming the release party is going to be in California, probably.
I might do a few. I have really great groups of fans and folks that I work with in music across California, New York, and Miami. So I could see doing a couple different parties leading up to it.
Okay, so you're gonna do like a theme around the name of it with the Palm City, or do you have
Very
it?
likely. Very likely. It's still very early in the planning. I feel like my head is all about Girls for Sport right now. That's coming out on the 8th. I'm doing like this really cool. I'll be doing a live stream at the Peterson Automotive Museum in LA in a vault with all these incredible luxury classic cars. Because, like I said, it's very Formula One inspired. So I'm thinking about a lot of the imagery for that. And then I will move mentally to think about Palm City Dreams. I think it's still early, but I will keep everyone posted because it's going to be really fun and really cool.
Is Formula One pretty big in California? Do they-
I wouldn't say it's a California thing. I think I am just a lover of old luxury cars, like refurbished cars, older Porsches and older Mustangs, cars from the 60s. I really love the song, We Like the cars that go boom. So for me, it was really cool to write a music that has a lot of like engine revving in the effects in the background. And I love Charlotte DeWitt. She's an incredible DJ who's performed at Formula One races in the past, and her techno music is incredible. So I definitely looked to her and how she writes her music as the inspiration for it as well.
Right. So there's actual like car noises on the
Yes. Yep. And there's I'm curious if people can spot the other sample that's in there. It's from a video game company. Like the dial-up screen that you hear when you turn the device on. I also found another sample that I wanted to include with the sports motif of a video gamer. So there's also some really cool other sounds in the track too.
So did you actually like reach out to Formula One to like collaborate with them for the song or
No, but if they listen to this interview and want to sponsor me or want me to DJ any of their races, I'm available.
will be perfect. Like
Exactly.
just like matching the overall theme. Um so yeah, so you have the EP. The EP is coming in August, you said?
August 8th. Yep, just a two track. Yep.
Track. And that one features the Girls for Sports.
And the Girls for Sport Ed Hoffman Rave remix.
Okay. And then the album's gonna be in November. So do you have any like gigs lined up that you want people to know about? Anything like people should know?
Yeah, if you have folks, if you have listeners that are based in LA, I'm going to be performing at the We Found New Music Showcase at Hotel Ziggy on August 9th. I think I perform at 7 or 7:20, and I will be singing live different songs, some that are released off Palm City Dreams, the album, and some that are unreleased. So for folks in LA, definitely come out and check it out.
Okay. So do you like right now, do you mainly besides like the album release, do you mainly perform in California or do you like perform nationwide and like where can people see you all the time? Or is it just California mainly?
It's mainly California and New York. There will be more Miami gigs later this year, likely Austin, LA, um, Denver. So I will definitely follow me on my socials. On Instagram, I say I post a lot of my gigs there, and I'm constantly posting different announcements as soon as shows are booked. So mainly in the US for now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna link all your socials and everything for people to find you and be up to date. And
Awesome.
for the EP and album, are you planning on doing it just like Spotify release, or are you gonna have actual like records or hard copies of it?
Ooh, there will definitely be a pink vinyl.
Pink vinyl. So Bobby 90s theme kind of.
Yeah. Pink
Awesome.
is my signature color. Everyone knows that. I've had several different variations of pink hair at different points. So it will be on Spotify and a pink vinyl, probably a limited release pink vinyl. There won't be a ton. So you'll definitely want to get it early and they'll be signed.
Awesome. So do you already have like the whole like design like laid out or pictured what it's gonna be like of like the whole sleeve and everything?
I do. Yeah. I did a really cool shoot with a photographer based in San Francisco. And we did it at this beautiful art installation in Tiburon with a lot of colors. And it's very dreamy. It's very poppy. It's very me. And I am so excited because the shots I've seen so far are exactly like you said, like perfect for the cover, the sleeve, the back with the track list. It couldn't have been more perfect. So yeah, we've got all the imagery ready.
That's perfect. So with the whole like pink theme, I mean, I guess it's perfect for you right now with the Barbie movie. You said you played over the weekend. So it's like perfect timing for you. Like the movie coming out and you're enjoying like the whole pink theme. So I guess it's just almost like free advertisement for you to just like play on the whole like Barbie theme right now.
It is, and I just want to make it clear, like I've been DJ Barbs for a long time. So I don't want people to think like, oh, the movie, all of a sudden this Barbie DJ pops up. Like I've always been about joy and I've always loved Pink. So it's really unique timing right now. I do have a song, Techno Barbie, that I also did with Ed Hoffman that he's currently pitching to different labels that will come out at some point. So it's a really fun take on like a darker rave Barbie. So yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time to be releasing music. It feels very in line with all the things that I love, and hopefully, I'm making people happy at the end of the day with my music.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it all like I'm pretty sure it works out great. It's perfect. You got so much lined up, and you said you already have enough written to come up with the next album, or you're already planning on future albums.
Yeah, I have many, many ideas. I am not at a loss for ideas right now. I think something has been unlocked working on Palm City Dreams, the first album that I just feel like I have this unshakable trust in myself, and that sort of trust is allowing the muse just to come through and just flow, and I just try to observe. I try to capture the ideas as soon as they come. Rick Rubin talks about creativity and how it's kind of like comes in the form of clouds. So I just feel like my faucet is on right now, and it's just my job to be collecting all of these ideas so that I just have this incredible amount of different things that I can work from.
So do you already like have an idea of when or how soon you want to like start working on the next record, or how often you want to be releasing new albums?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to I'm really excited about also working with other producers. I've started to reach out to folks and folks are coming to me. They've heard my voice now and they hear the style and my range. And so I'm excited to have my solo thing going with Barbara and DJ Barbs, but then lend my vocals and my writing and sound design to a lot of different tracks. So I see next year a lot more music, a lot more collaborations coming out that let me play in different genres like deep house and techno and other styles of music that I also enjoy as like a fan and a DJ. And then I think for the second album, I mean, I'd love to work with a few different producers. I'd love to start working on it in the fall. Like there's no reason why I can't get started in the fall.
Okay. So since you said like you're planning on like a lot of collaborations and with like EDM DJs, like is there like one that would like a dream collaboration for you? Like if that came true and you could work with like the dream artist, like who would it be?
Oh, I have no idea. Oh my gosh, that's so hard. Um, I'd like to write a track with Gwen Stefani. Like I'd love to do a remix. I'd love to do a remix for her. Nelly Furtado just released Eat Your Man, I think, with Dom Dalla. It almost sounds like Man Eater Part 2. So she's definitely in the EDM space. I think it would be so cool to have like a female power collab with some of my favorites from the 90s and do something in the dance world together and produce it and write it and sing it together. That would be really, really awesome. Sisterhood, femme power.
It would be awesome. I mean, fingers crossed it works out. Maybe she happens to come across the interview. Yeah, maybe.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll get a Formula One sponsor and my next collaborator, Gwen Stefani. Keep an eye out for Barbara and Gwen Stefani 2025.
Oh, we can do the little hashtag Gwen Stefani 2025. Maybe.
I love it.
Well, since we're close to coming to an end, is there anything like you want to share? You want people to know anything about the album? Anything you want people to know?
I just want to thank you so much for having me on and being a supporter of my music. I'm so glad that you like sneaking around. Like I said, it's really fun to relive all these memories of my high school days, and being really fresh and bad. um, I would say the best place to stay in touch with me is Barb's Music on Instagram. Like I said, I'll be announcing different shows as they get booked later in the fall, and especially all the release parties and ways to tune in virtually if I'm not coming to a city near you, doing some live streams and things. And that's about it. And then I'll just, keep working on music and hopefully putting out music that makes people happy and makes them want to dance and feel really good.
I think that's what people probably need the most right now, coming. out of the pandemic and everything. People just need to go out, dance, have fun, and have a good.
Yes. It's the best medicine, honestly.
And then you said you have the weekly, is it a radio show? You said you have that.
Yes, yeah. Check out Hen House. It's on BFF.FM, Best Frequencies Forever. It's an online community radio station based in San Francisco. It airs bi-weekly on Saturdays, midnight to 1 a.m. And I just launched episode 6 this past Saturday night. So all the episodes are on there. You can go back and listen on Sunday or later on, and you'll see the track list too if you like any tracks.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll make sure I link everything to the radio show and yeah, everything people need to find you. I'm gonna show and link everything in the show notes for it. So and yeah, I just want to thank you too for giving me the opportunity to like interview you and learn all about what's going on in your life, about the album, future plans, backstories about the songs and the whole production of it. So yeah, thank you for joining us today. And I'm gonna link everything people need to know to find you. So thanks for joining us. I hope you have a great
Thank you.
day and